If you want to be able to buy the most expensive players and open the best packs in FC25, go to u7buy.com to buy your EAFC 25 coins. It's cheaper than buying FC points and just as reliable. With their already amazing prices, you can get an extra 6% using promo code Inception at checkout. You want to do, and it is going to be a form of a speed boost, right? So in the past, you guys know, I personally don't like it, right? And we'll see if EA does any sort of adjustments to it. But even right now, if you have higher tier players, people would do step over acceleration like that, right? And you could still see that with a card like Dembele, he can still do that step over acceleration really well, right? Like there's still that boost on the ball that allows you to get into certain positions, and it's controlled. But you only get to this point with like a lot of the higher tier skilled players because they have like skill moves, agility, balance, all that kind of stuff, right? But this new skill move, it's not even an actual skill move. It's just a speed boost that has existed in the past, but has kind of come back for this year's game, right? And basically what it is the L1 speed boost. You're just holding L1 and then R trigger, right? Holding L1, R trigger, holding L1, R trigger, right? You get a very, very good speed boost in certain situations like that, right? You can see there's a really good push on the ball, especially when you're in certain situations. Like over here, if I'm holding, let me just retry right here. If I'm holding the position, let me just score a goal. If I'm holding the position against the attacker and I'm doing this, he overcommits, I just do a speed boost and get past him. What's actually hilarious about this one is that in the skill games, you're actually not really seeing how crazy effective it is, because in the online, when you're using certain players, they really get a skill boost when it comes to just utilizing it, right? So like I said, L1, R trigger, right? You get a speed boost. Even right there, you can kind of see it a little bit, right? So let me show you guys some examples of how that ends up working in game. Nice. Speed boost, bro. There's a speed boost. So again, very simple skill move, L1, hold R trigger. You can see that when you're starting to do the little initial dribbles, right? Like in these situations here, you're doing those initial dribbles. It kind of allows you to control it a little bit better, right? So with Gyökeres, physical type attacker, that's really good at doing that. It's fantastic to work with. And what you're going to notice a lot with the types of players you're using it with, like some players are really going to take off from it, because if you actually check out the Gyökeres card, and this is just like a cheap alternative for the beginning of the year. You can only imagine what it's like with the higher tier cards, right? This guy is a lengthy player on an engine chemistry style, on a finisher chemistry style. You can give him a basic, whatever you want, but that lengthy is going to really push the pace out of the card. But obviously with the higher tier players, you'll push the pace out of them a little bit more as well, right? So you just got to time it a specific way. You guys saw me doing it with João Felix as well, and that card only has a Deadeye on it for the beginning of the year. Normally you would put a Hunter, and then you would get more of an accelerated boost for those situations as well. So again, I do think that this one might be nerfed in the future, but it can be an effective thing to use for right now. Okay guys, so for the next skill move, and the only reason why I haven't gotten like actual gameplay footage of this is because I haven't used players that have a Trickster or a Trickster Plus, is actually going to be the new fake shot, which again could be adjusted from EA's point of view. Maybe we'll see how it ends up working, if they think it's okay after, you know, people get certain defenders and whatnot. But this is basically just a fake shot, right? So however way you do the fake shot, for me personally, I do fake shot with circle X, right? So I slide my thumb from circle to X. I don't just do 2 button presses, right? Some people do that. I slide my thumb, and it's funny because you can actually see the material on the controller from me utilizing that a lot, because I'll do fake shots from like just doing a regular fake shot to stop in place, right, to face the net. You could do the same thing when you're up here as well, where if you do a fake shot, you always face the net. Or if you want to do a fake shot to face a certain direction, you would hold R1 and then face that certain direction, right? But with this fake shot, and this will work for players who have this specific playstyle right here, the Trickster or the Trickster Plus, they do their own version of a fake shot, and it's a very effective fake shot because they do a fake shot into a ball roll, right? That's their fake shot, and it's very controlled. It's just a simple fake shot. You can see it's a very quick ball roll, right? Like it's very fast. So if I'm here, fake shot, and then I can just score an opportunity that way, right? So you can see that if the defender especially is being used AI-wise, that one was just a regular one, so that doesn't count. It's just like this, right? Fake shot, but you're always facing the direction with your left stick of where you want to exit, right? So wherever you want to exit, you're facing it with your left stick, right? Left side, bottom side, left side, up, right side, down side, right side, and they will always do that specific skill move, right? So again, with Trickster Plus, very effective to use. All you need to know is that you just got to do a fake shot. You don't have to hold L2. You don't have to hold any of that stuff. You just have to face the direction that you want to exit, right? You're going to the top left, you're going there. You're going to the top side, you're going there. Fake shot, fake shot, fake shot, right? Very, very effective. It's a controlled fake shot, and it allows you to kind of like, you can even get yourself into situations where you can do it against the goalkeeper at an angle, and he'll react to it depending on the situation. Like, so if I'm here and I get close to him, I do that, create a space, right? And that could work out, but it depends, right? Because sometimes he'll do it and sometimes you won't. It's when you're moving that they really do it sometimes. But yeah, very effective to use, very basic. Just do the fake shot, hold the left stick in the direction that you want to exit, and you're good to go. Okay, guys, so for this next skill move, it's actually going to be called the stop and go. Another very effective skill move, especially if you start to incorporate certain things to it, right? So with the stop and go skill move, all you are going to do is you're going to hold L2 like this, and you're going to flick your right stick backwards, forwards of where you are facing, right? So whatever your back is and whatever your forward is how you're going to do the skill move, right? So let's say, for instance, I'm going backwards. It would be to my right to left, right? Like this. If I'm going forwards, it'll be left, right. If I'm upwards, it'll be bottom up, right? So whatever you're facing, it's just backwards flick first with the right, and then forward flick after that, right? Whatever your player's body position is. Now, the reason why this one is so effective is because of two different reasons. One of the reasons is because, yes, you still can do the heel to heel, but you'll notice that the heel to heel is more effective when you are using higher class players, right? If I do that same heel to heel with Gonzalo Ramos, you'll see that there's more emphasis on the ball, right? And this will go with both of the players, because you can only imagine if I have more control with a lower quality player, you can only imagine what it's like to have a higher quality player like Dembele, who will be able to touch the ball in like a crisp manner to get into positions, right? So you can see heel to heel is like this, way more emphasized, ball gets pushed, right? This new skill move is controlled, right? It's not as emphasized. So if you're in a situation where, let's say, you're inside the 18-yard box over here, it's better for you to do this to push the ball than it is for you to do a heel to heel against the opposition. Now, the cool thing about this skill move is that you can actually exit in a direction, right? So you guys know, like I said, you are flicking your right stick backwards, forwards. But if you are exiting at an angle, you would just face your left stick at that angle, right? So let's say, for instance, it's like this. This is how it would look. You see what I'm saying? So you're flicking backwards, forwards, but before the skill move is completed, you are facing your left stick at a specific angle. So if I'm over here and I'm like, oh, I'm using Dembele and I know that he's left-footed, I can do this and create an angle for me to shoot with his left foot right afterwards, right? Because it's accelerated. And it works the exact same way when you are inside the 18-yard box like this. Sorry, it didn't register that time. Like this, right? That one is forward facing because that's, you know, I'm approaching at an angle, but like this, for instance, right? And I can push the ball at an angle and go on the inside. And you'll notice that it's accelerated, right? There's like somewhat of a speed boost on it as well, like that, where I can kind of get past the opposition and then score my opportunities that way as well. So a very, very effective skill move. Again, you're just holding L2 and you're flicking your right stick backwards, forwards, and then if you want to exit at an angle, you will just use your left stick to face that angle. Okay, so very, very effective skill move, one of the new ones as well this year. Definitely worth using in game, especially if you get it down, because like I said, if you're using players who have lower quality, you can just get a quick exit with them, right? Like if it was Gonzalo Ramos, quick little exit, I can score an opportunity that way. So very, very effective to use as well. So the next skill move here is actually going to be called the big feint, right? Now, this skill move I haven't really utilized too much in the actual gameplay. I have to kind of figure it out a little bit more, but it is a pretty cool skill move to use, but a lot of the times I actually prefer to use this other new skill move that I'm going to be showing after this one, right? So basically the way to do this skill move is you are going to hold L2. You're going to flick your right stick in the opposite direction of where you are going to exit, and then you are going to flick your right stick in the direction you're going to exit. So let's say, for instance, I am facing the ball here with Dembele facing forward. So my initial side, if I want to exit upwards, is I'm going to flick my right stick downwards and then upwards while holding L2. This is the big feint, right? So you're approaching, flick, 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 and then you actually, it turns out you actually have to use the left stick as well. So your left stick is going to do the exit, because if you don't do the left stick, he'll just do a huge step over, right? Like this. No exit, right? So in order for you to do an exit, you do have to hold the left stick like this for you to get that angle, which honestly can be effective in certain situations. The only thing is that the ball is not protected that much when you do this, right? So it could be a little bit sus to work with, right? Like you could do that, but again, it's not as protected. So you definitely have to figure out the angles for this one, right? So again, side, exit, you would just use the thumbstick, right? This one wouldn't be too bad to kind of get the ball under control a certain way, right? Like, let's say, for instance, the defender is like approaching me and I want to protect the ball. I could technically just do this, right? And just do something very quick just to kind of hold possession of the ball, put my body ahead of the defender so I can protect it, right? So there's different ways of being able to utilize this one as well, right? You could do that to create an angle to shoot, right? Definitely a possibility. I feel like when this one comes off, it's better when you kind of just do it for fun, I would say, right? Like it might not be like as meta as this next one I'm going to show you, but it comes off really nicely. And the cool thing about it is that you can do it for an exit as well, right? So if you notice here, I can go at an angle, right? So I can do this and angle it, right, to create a shooting angle. So let's say, for instance, the person is defending and they defend a little bit poorly, and I just want to create an angle to shoot. I can do that from this skill move as well, and then just finesse it or shoot it near post or whatever right afterwards, right? So again, people are not really utilizing this one as much, but it's a pretty cool skill move to add into the game, in my opinion, right? So it's still pretty sick for what it is. This next skill move I'm going to show you guys is actually one of the more effective skill moves that EA has introduced into this game. And it's very simple to do if you just remember a previous skill move. So as you guys know, you can do a Berba spin, right? Everyone knows how to do a Berba spin, or most people know how to do a Berba spin, where you flick your right stick in the forward-facing direction first, and then wherever you are exiting, you are going to flick the right stick in that direction, right? So let's say in this situation here, because I am facing upwards and I want to exit to my left side, I would just flick it up left, right? And you can see that when you have a person who has 5-star skills, they do the McGeady spin instead, right? So if I'm using someone like Gonzalo Ramos, right, I can do the skill move. I don't think Ramos has 4-star for it to come off really nicely, but you can see that he's very emphasized at doing that, right? Now, this new skill move, if you remember how to do the Berba spin, all you are going to have to remember to do this one is you're just going to hold L1, okay, while doing a Berba spin. So it's like this. Oh, hold on. There's a little bit of pressure there, like this. So hold L1, Berba spin, right? This one is fantastic because look at the entire way this skill move comes off. It is constantly protected until you have to take a strike or until you have to pass the ball, right? So that initial move that you are doing, he's putting himself in front of the ball, right, against the defender. And then the way that you exit is also in front of you instead of behind you, right? So you're going to see some examples of a game of how well it's utilized. Again, it is one of the more effective skill moves that EA has added this year, right? So again, initial protection and then protection afterwards from the exit of the skill move as well. So it's really, really good. Again, you are right stick flicking first in the forward facing direction, and then your right stick flicking to the exit direction, right? While holding L1. Again, if you're using the Berba spin, you don't hold L1. You're just doing this. He's doing a McGeady because he's a 5-star skiller. But in this skill move, L1, Berba spin, you create an angle to shoot from. Let me show you guys some examples in game. That new skill move is crazy, bro. That's another way to use that skill move. That skill move is crazy. So you guys can see yourself, right? The way that the defender commits into you while you are protecting the ball is insane, because they're going to initially move in that direction, and then you're still going to protect the ball from the second part of the skill moves to exit into space. And it's such an effective way of scoring goals. Honestly, there's many moments where it is better than utilizing the Berba spin. And in some cases, the McGeady cancel. McGeady cancel, as you guys know, is this one. That one is still a very effective skill move. Not a new one. It's always existed in the game, right? But very effective nonetheless, right? So very good skill move. I think it's one of the more effective ones from the new ones that they've added this year. Definitely one that you need to add into your gameplay. And for the last skill move that we're going to be showing from the new skill moves, right, it is going to be called the toe drag step over. Honestly, this one is actually pretty good if utilized in the right positions, because it is essentially a more controlled speed boost into certain positions if you angle yourself a certain way. It's very effective if you get the right angles for it, right? So the way to utilize this skill move, right, is you are going to hold L1 and you are going to initially start your right stick, not flicking, you're holding it in this direction. You're going to initially start your right stick in the opposite direction of where you want to exit, and then you are going to rotate it 180 degrees in the direction that you want to exit. Let me show you guys the example in game, right? So in this situation right here, if I'm using Dembele and I want to exit to my top side, I'm going to hold L1, right stick start at the bottom here, right? So that's a croquette, obviously. I'm going to right stick start at the bottom right here, and then I'm going to rotate it upwards, downwards, upwards, downwards, upwards, because that's the direction that I want to head towards, right? Opposite direction, exit direction, opposite direction, exit direction, while holding L1, okay? So it'll come off like this. L1, bang, right? And it's a very effective skill move, because when you're initially doing those step overs, you're kind of faking out your opposition a little bit, right? He'll stop in place because he's like, oh, where is he going to go? But then you're just going to get that small little speed boost, and then you can just go for a strike or a pass or whatever it is, right? So let me show you guys this one example of me doing it with João Felix, because I want you to notice where the direction of the opposition defender is. He's going to be to João Felix's right side over here. So because he's on his right side and he's not being controlled, if I exit to the left side, he's not going to track after me well enough unless it's the other defender that ends up getting the ball, right? So let me show you guys the example. That's a good way to use that skill move, right? Okay, so let me just show you guys this quickly, okay? So you see this guy right here? You see how he's more to João Felix's right side than his left side? But he's controlling this guy right here. This is the guy that ends up getting the ball. If I do this skill move, I will be able to create an acceleration, a speed boost for myself, because he's creating that space for me on the left-hand side, because this guy is not being used. So a lot of times, if you're facing people who are, consistently using their AI defense, this is a way to break AI defense, right? So look, when we get started with the skill move here, look at where I'm started and look at where his player is facing. And I can exit to his left side, and I have now created a space for myself. In a situation like this, I could have utilized the new skill move with the L1 Berba spin, basically, and I could have gone him on the turn right here, right? And I could have created a space for my other attacker making this run right here, or I could have, there's different things that I could have done, because over here, once I did this, I could have held L1 and did a speed boost to really get past him instead of just holding our trigger to get past him, right? But he uses the other player here to defend, and it allows him to get the ball back because we didn't do two different choices that could have been way more ideal. I could have even done like a Berba cancel here and, created a little running space for this guy to get on the inside there too, but he would have been marked. So it's all in the moment stuff as well, right? But it is an effective way of being used because of the initial direction that people are facing. You can see that he's at the bottom side here. I want to exit to the top left. He's not being used. So because he's not being used, he's not going to track me, right? If he's not using this guy right here, I just broke through the defense from utilizing that skill move in the right way, right? So all of these skill moves that EA have introduced into this game, they're all going to be effective in their own ways. And you guys should definitely utilize them whenever given the opportunity, right? I do think that some of them are probably going to be nerfed, right? Like I said, I think the L1 speed boost and the Trickster maybe could. I think the L1 speed boost will probably get nerfed. The Trickster one is dependent on if EA feels like it's necessary for a player that has Trickster, but the rest of them, I feel like they're going to be pretty much the same, maybe, for the majority of the year, because that new L1 Berba spin it's a really, really crazy one. It's not fast, but it's very controlled and it's protected, right? It's always the protected skill moves that come off the best, if you want to, score your opportunities. But remember, those skill moves are very good. The one that I just showed you guys, where you can basically do your new heal to heal skill move, like the heal to heal is not going to be worth doing in a lot of cases. Like this one is definitely going to be better for you to exit into certain directions with acceleration and with a controlled feeling to it as well, right? Like it's just going to be very, very effective with lower quality players as well as higher quality players. So those two specifically are definitely going to be really crazy, in my opinion, especially if you time them correctly. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today. We can do all the effective skill moves in one video and go from there, because there are obviously older ones that will always be effective. There's always the basic ones like the ball roll scoop, or sorry, it's not registering. Let me just, okay, there we go. And now we can do the ball roll scoop, right? You have to give the skill games a little bit, right? Ball roll scoop, still effective to use. L1 into an elastical, still effective to use. Yeah, that's still effective. Elastical coming off of a defender that is facing you a certain way, and then you go for the opposite elastical, also effective as well, right? So if you're facing here, you do an elastical on the inside, your body's kind of protecting you in a way. Those ones are still effective. Yeah, that's still effective. The typical 1v1 Mortal Kombat stuff that you saw last year, they're still effective in this game, just with like higher quality players, right? So I'll show you some examples of some of the stuff. This skill move is still good as well, right? The L1 forward flick back, right? Forward flick back, that one's still good. Beauty. People still use the L1 into the croqueta, stuff like that, right? That works out. There it is. Also still very good, but we can do individual videos for those ones as well if you guys want that, because they're all still very effective, right? L1 into the elastical and stuff, still very effective. But yeah, we'll leave the video there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I will catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.